like I said, my dad was a gospel singer. So we grew up in that kind of faith-based environment, and we hear stories about missionaries and about church leaders. And those were our bedtime stories, like Hudson Taylor. And he read us a story once about David Livingston, the story was incredible. And as a kid, I didn't really understand a whole lot. But later on in life, when I heard this story again retold, there were a few things that I missed, and I'm just going to kind of give you a little bio on him. He was born in the early 1800s, lived and died in the late 1800s. He was born in Scotland. He had a pretty great family, a pretty well-to-do family. They could have really done anything, or he could have done anything he wanted. He could have been a lawyer, he could have been a doctor, he could have been the prime minister. He was very brilliant, really brilliant kid. But he always had this love for Africa. And there are people out there that have this pull towards a place. And I can't explain it, but David Livingston had this. He left when he was a young man. He had just been married. Another thing about David Livingston is he gave up a lot. He made a lot of sacrifices in his life. When he had just been married, he found out his wife was pregnant, and he left. He had to go right away because the ship was leaving. It's the only ship that year, not these days. But he had to go, and he got there, and 5 years later, she was able to make it over. And within 2 weeks, his wife passed away. She contracted a disease, and she died very soon after getting there. And his son also met the same fate less than a year later. So this man had incredible brokenness. He went through a lot of pain just to do what he knew he was supposed to do, and that was to preach to people in Rhodesia. And the Rhodesians picked up on this. They saw his passion and his love, and they welcomed him as one of their own, as family. And that's the kind of the cool thing. And fast forward 20, 30, 40 years later, and he's coming to the end of his life, and he is one of them. And they've shared this incredible journey. And he dies. And immediately the British government, the Church of England, wanted his body sent back. They wanted to take pride in this pillar of the Church of England. They wanted to take pride in this man. They wanted to bury him with the kings, with the princes, with the writers, with the poets, Charles Dickens, all the greats, Sir Isaac Newton. The Rhodesians, they did send his body back, but before doing so, they took his heart out and they put it in African soil. Underneath a tree where they would meet, they'd congregate, they'd hang out, be a community. And then they sent his body back in a box to England. And the cool thing is they left a note on his chest and said, "You can have his body, but his heart stays in Africa." And that story, I missed it when I was a kid, But I think that's the kind of thing that it inspires us. It's the kind of love that inspires us, and that's what this last song is about. It's about how love is shared. It's supposed to be shared. It should pass through our hands. So, this is David Livingston. You be a mystery, and I will uncover the truth. You be a chorus, and I'll be the verse you go through. You be the dynamite blasting away at the walls we take apart. You be my walker, stay with me as I grow frail. You be the wind and direct me when I lose a sail. You be the resonance pulsing through every nerve that fills my knees. You be Jon sweet midsummer nights, with you in my life, with you in my life. You be a flask, and I'll be the comfort you hold. You can be stranded, and I'll bring you in from the cold. You be the ambulance racing me back down that old familiar road. You be Teresa, and I'll be your hands to hold. Sweet midsummer nights, with you in my life, with you in my life. You'll be a train track, I'll never leave you for long. You'll be a new land, and I'll plot my home in your arms. You be the coffee that brings me to life in the earth.